Now I got to share this with everybody. Share. See if it works. Reconnecting. I'll share one more time. All right, we do got one more viewer here. I'm going to wait a few minutes so we can have more folks come on in and join us. We're going to be weathering this Athens Genesis big boy for a friend of mine. And before we get going here, we're going to wait a few minutes till we have a few more people coming in here. So give me a second. I'm going to actually redo. Yeah, time to get this water cleaned out and have a new fresh water for our cup. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, we're ready here in a second. Doo, doo, doo. Got to bring my coffee here so I can stay awake. I'm already awake just to get to be a little more energetic. Nothing like a good cup of coffee. So I'm gonna wait a few more minutes here. There's some kind of festival going on, and I hear mariachi music, which is really cool. I like mariachi music, but it's a little too loud, so I had to close the door and the window. So there's a band playing out there. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Move this over. Actually, it's a good idea to put it right in there. And these are clean. I could dry them off in the meantime while we're waiting here for a few more people to come on in. This is impromptu. I thought about this about 30 minutes ago, and I think it'd be a good idea. I was going to do a video explaining how I weather this locomotive, but instead, I thought it'd be really cool to do something live. And this steam engine, or excuse me, this model is a model from one of my good friends. He and his family lost their house in Arkansas when we had all of that nasty rain, and so this is a gift to him. He doesn't know I'm actually uh, recording this live. I just sent him the link, so maybe he'll watch it and not freak out that I'm weathering his train live. Um, he asked me what can I do to weather this as far as the intensity of the weathering, and the big boy is such a beautiful locomotive that I don't want to go too intense with it, but enough that it has been working out in the field for a while, and under a year possibly we could do something like that. And number 4005 is the number of the steam locomotive. It is an Athens Genesis model, and 4005 in 1946 was converted to oil and then reverted back to coal in 1948. So I want to do it in 1946 version. That it was converted in oil, and because you could do a lot effects with the oil, and maybe we could do a little bit of the what the ashes look like too. Because it still had a fire, so you need to have that ash effect as well. Um, Now Ken Patterson on what's neat, a rare hobbyist for the month of May, I believe. He showed you how you can weather steam engines, and he does a lot of different kind of techniques: dry brushing, paintbrush, hand weathering, and airbrushing. I don't necessarily, I unfortunately don't have a way to make the steam engine operational to where I could get into those drivers, but there's a way to do that without having the steam engine running. Also, this locomotive, we think, or at least we hope not, it was damaged during the flood, but also there is a wire that is broken that my friend told me about. So unfortunately, either way, I cannot run the steam engine to get to those drivers. So we're going to do the best we can with the drivers and weathering the steam engine. You can see there's some little dust on the little hairs. I did my best to get all this off already, so I can still see some of it left. And since we're still waiting, we have one viewer. I hope you're doing well tonight and everything is going well by you and having a good weekend so far and a great Saturday. I need to, let's get all this gunk out here. It looks like the steam engine's growing hair, which I don't think it is. I don't hope not. If not, it's a living organism. We got to take care of it. That's funny. I can't. There we go. We got it. There we go. Now I hope this steam engine can be operational again. There's unfortunately I can't even test the tender because my moment either. So I think we got it. I think we got everything here. You can see I already did the prep work, and actually I got to add a little piece to this. Now if you see over here, there is an autograph by Mr. Ed himself. He was the engineer, as long as in charge of the preservation of the steam engine, the restoration. Excuse me, the restoration of the steam engine. And when the 4014 came to Van Buren, Arkansas, my friend and his family went out there and they met Ed and he autographed the top of the steam engine. So I do not want that destroyed. And I already sealed it, so it should be there permanently. And I used blue tape, so it shouldn't get rid of the autograph. And so, and looking for a knife here, I have to add one more sliver so we can fill the rest of this in here. There we go. Look at that. Looks like nothing. Wow, it's actually looks like looks like I just cut it and matched up perfectly. Wow, pretty interesting. All right, so we have one viewer, one like so far. That is awesome. I really appreciate it, and I hope everybody's having a great evening. It is late. It is last minute, but we're gonna get rolling here since we are about 8 minutes in. It is past 9 o'clock Central Time, and so I already did the prep work for the steam engine. It's been sealed. And so the first thing we're going to do is turn it over. Actually, yeah, well, yeah, we can do that. Let's see if this fits. I don't think it's going to fit. Oh, it just fits. Look at that. Definitely won't fit O scale, but definitely fit the HO and N scale stuff. Okay. Now we want this top here. Now it's already black. And what I'm going to do is add my favorite kind of flat paints. That's these acrylics paints. You get these are $2.99, but you could get them for like 30% off, 50% off sometimes at Hobby Lobby. They always run some decent sales. And so we're going to add a palette with some of that paint. Now I'll use a little bit. These bottles lasted me about 3 years since I started the business. Not these particular ones, but the previous ones for sure. So a little bit of that flat. It's it's earth brown and a flat black is what I use. You do the wheels with those, couplers, all sorts of things, and it's a good base color for your models. So take a little bit on the brush. I'm gonna do the pilot wheels first to get that out of the way. So while that's dry, we can concentrate on the top. Now I may have used a little too black here. Let's get a little more of that brown. And you don't want it too wet. You want it a little bit of a dry brush here. Okay, we're gonna go on this first here. And so we're gonna get those. These are already sealed. Metal wheels, you have to seal them before you can do any kind of painting because the paint won't stay. So I'm gonna do that here. Okay, a little bit of that dryness here. It's not gonna be too wet. It's just enough to cover the pilot wheels here. And so now next, what I'm gonna do, since I have this side open already, by the way, this is my very first articulated steam engine, so this is pretty cool. I've already weathered about 12 steam engines in the past couple of months, and so I'm having a good time with this one. And so here we're going to use a little bit of that black and that brown, and we're going to go over the back trucks here. Now, what's great about these acrylics, it does it does dry flat and almost like a fade. It's really cool when you can use this kind of stuff. This kind of paint is really good. So here, and since oil burning, it's we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna add some of this in here, give it a little bit of that base along that piping area, and we will come back and add layer upon layer of different kind of weathering and colors. I like to get those pistons as well. I don't know if you can see that here. Get those pistons going. Just start a little bit of that color. And I barely have, you can see I barely have anything in here. It's kind of shiny. See, there's like barely anything on that brush. It's just enough to highlight and start off the weathering. So there we go. You can barely see it. It's just hard. It's hard using my phone here, not using a camera either. Not much here. Okay. Okay, we do that. Now I'm gonna give this a different kind of color. Give that a little brown, and when it dries, it'll dry really flat, and you might have to add a few layers to it. It's sometimes hard to tell that I even did anything, but you could tell it really close up. There's some different kind of color paint on the model. Now, so all this black, we're gonna try to get rid of that plastic look here by using this color. And this is good for also the drivers as well, all the gears. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of that flat, just a little more of that flat black than the brown here. I'm gonna go in here, use that on the here and the boiler. There wasn't much rust. I would say a lot of the locomotive has been fairly clean, but running. Yeah, rust, a lot of dust, a lot of ash, of course, but not much of the stuff you see on the diesel locomotives, the modern trains. So, add a couple of layers to that. Now, this detail is very minuscule, but look. Go in here, get some of those dry. I use a little bit of a dry brush because you don't want to make it too wet. You don't want all that paint getting stuck inside the little rivets and the little moving parts of the steam engine itself, the model. I tend to stay away from those parts as best as possible, especially using a dry brush. So I can actually get into the wheels here just enough. Okay. I have like nothing on this brush. Barely anything is on this brush. Just enough for paint to get into steam engine. Now, you may think, okay, that you're gonna when the steam engine starts moving, you're gonna see spots missing. Not necessarily, because that's when the weathering powders come in handy as well. So I'm gonna get rid of this plastic look here. This is, like I said, very light on here. Well, we have 3 viewers now. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody's having a great evening. I know it's late for some folks. I'm sure some folks are probably ready to go to bed. But I got my coffee, so I'm ready to rock for the night. I hope everybody's doing well in their layouts. Is anybody here who working on their layout or even weathering or want to learn something here? We are all here to share and have a good time. And you can see here that brown and black, it looks like nothing. You can see it's dulled out, but it doesn't look like it's really anything there. Now, it's hard. I don't know if you can see, but you can see here, and then you look the other side, and you can see how really gray it is, right? You can see the difference already on how it's already faded out. And I'm not using an airbrush. This is all just by hand. Okay, and I think this side is pretty, it's good for now. I'm going to add just a little more. Again, I have nothing on this brush. I mean, I'm dipping a tiny bit on the sides and just going like that. You can barely see there's anything there. Now we're making the steam engine look like it's been on the road for a few months. Not heavy duty weathering, just enough to look like it's being used. Okay. Now dabbing the top here, a little bit of that the flat black. There we go. And we'll go a little more detail in a second. This is just the base coating of the model. Okay, just like that. You can probably erase, hopefully you can see the difference already. Now I'm going to do the other side as well. This is usually when I just edit the video and go, all right, let's go to the next portion of the weathering process, but we're doing this live because I feel like with this is very important to do live. Okay, we're going back here, adding some more of that brown and black. Okay, that I don't want that to be. I mean, it's barely even on here, so this is a gear that's going to go back and forth. If this gets caked, it won't. The model will not run. Okay, a little bit of that brown too. There we go. Now we're going to add an extra coat of another layer of that paint on the pilots. Trying to get all the base. There's the base coat of all the little gears and the piping with this flat paint. And I'm using Anita's acrylics. I'm using a earth brown and a flat black mixed together, more so of the black than the brown. And very, 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 very almost a dry brush, pretty much. You can see already this is the oil burner. We're going to make this an oil burner like it's running in 1946. By 1948, 4005 was reverted to coal. So we're going to make this baby look like it's been made an oil burner. Okay. A lot of research already has been done. And it's hard to find 4005 because 4005 is pretty famous for it's been being preserved, but also it had a wreck back in the day. And it's actually hard to find some photos. I can't really find any photos in color. So I have to go based off other steam engines. And for my project for my client, I did over 12 steam engines. I think I have another 10 to 25 more to go. And so, in order to get some of my research besides books and Google and videos and magazines, I actually have a coworker who was a steam locomotive engineer. And so he gave me some pointers and pointed me in the right direction how to weather these steam engines. So it was really, really nice of him to help me out. And I actually weathered his Frisco F unit. So these are some of his models right here. I'm still in the process of weathering these guys for him, and they should be done soon. They have an A, B unit. These are also Athearn Genesis. Beautiful models. I had to redo some of the weathering on the B unit because he purchased it off of eBay from another modeler, and it was pre-weathered, and so I've been redoing the weathering for him on that B unit. So that's been an interesting project. Okay, now we're going back in the wheels here. Again, we're not sure if the steam engine could run because we're going to try to fix it. Plus, we hope damage in the flood, my friend's flood. So we're going to do what we can to weather it, and we're going to act like the steam engine is going to be operational again. Okay. Now, again, I'm using very, very light amount of paint. I mean, you could barely probably see it. This acts like a fading if you use an airbrush. I do have an airbrush, but I don't have a way to operate the steam engine, even if it was operational. So, doing my best here to do it by dry brushing and with a paintbrush. I mean, by hand. Okay, so that's good. Now we do the underbelly. I'm going to use just the flat black. That should work. Okay. Just lay up the flat black on there. Okay, we're gonna move this steam engine over to the booth, and I'm going to spray it down with a dull coat so it seals up the model. And first we're going to do is blow dry. So everybody hold their ears for a second here. We'll blow dry it so everything just dries on the steam engine. Just that fast. And so when it comes to the sealing of the steam engine, I don't touch the wheels at all because they are dry brush with paint. I want to keep those as clean as possible and away from it being caked from using all of the different kinds of sealers and that you use. So I cover it. You can probably hear the music now. It's pretty loud. I may go out later to check it out. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun after I do this video here. Okay. Now it's time for me to probably open up the window. I've got the fan going so we can concentrate now on the tender. Now, tender is an oil burner because we are, again, modeling this. We're weathering the steam engine as if it was in 1946. And the way you do it is add a little drop of water on the brush, and actually, I'm going to change that up here. I always do this. There's sometimes I always have my paintbrushes going into my coffee instead of the water. So this time I was careful not to do that. So I'm going to drink my coffee, and I know it's black because I drink my coffee black most of the time, not from the black paint. And it's cold, but that's okay. The caffeine is still there. All right, so this is, clean that already. Let's get a different kind of, perfect. I like these kind of thick brushes. They're good This one's a little damp. We're gonna wet it just a little more, and we're gonna use some of that flat black paint. All right, we're gonna dip it into the paint itself. Sounds like they have a trombone or a tuba. That's pretty cool. I definitely have to go out there. Okay, so now now the goal and the way to do this technique is to stroke up and just downwards, streak it downwards. Get up there, down, up, and down. Okay. Down. Now, I am on TikTok. You can find Touch of the Brush, hashtag TOTB model weathering. You can find me on TikTok, and I do have a few TikTok videos how I weather these tenders. And it's just like that. It really looks good, right? So we're going to blow dry it. Now, I've also participated in the NMRA clinic, the NMRAX clinics, and I showed you how to weather and, well, at least fade models using a brush and water instead of using a airbrush. So you can see how easy this is. Now you can tell a difference here. See? Flip to the other side, see the difference. That's not done. And this is done. Well, weathered, I mean, faded at least. Right? Now, if you want to do, you can go thicker coats if you like. I'm going to go at least one more because I like the way this is looking. I don't want to go too bad or too much, rather. I'm going to use some of that black paint and go across one more time. Just darken it just a little bit more. Okay. Voila. Right? Now we're going to blow dry it again. Same time, same technique. Downward. Okay, now sometimes you get this little runoff of paint here. So I like to go up sometimes. As long as you have the streaks going up and down. Okay. Sometimes you have a little bit hiding on the bottom here. Just stretch that out. And boom, there you go. Look at that. And you don't have to spend money on an airbrush. Just simple $2, $3 paints. And maybe $5 to $10 for a set of brushes. Okay, well, now we're going to repeat the same process again. A little bit of water diluted, some of that paint, and go back. Now you can make it thicker if you like, or lighter, and just add coats to it, whatever you feel that is necessary for your fading and weathering of your model. I'm going to go a little thicker here. This is cool because it shows that it's an oil burner. It has been on the road, kicking up some ballast dust and just dust from being at work on the UP. Okay, I'm going to stroke up a little bit here. Okay. Now you may see some lines. What you can do here, add some water and stroke it downward. But I'm going to kill two birds with one stone here and just do another pass of this, and a little bit thicker this time too. Much better. There we go. Okay. All right. One more time. And voila. Little spot right there. Let's get rid of that spot there. Boom. There you go. There's your tender. Already weathered. So we're going to do the top again with the same technique. A little more water. Get the rest of that paint from the top. Get some of that, all the nooks here and the little corners. I don't know what they're singing about them, but it sure sounds fun. Woo-wee. There we go. And this mallow is already warm, so it's already drying on me as I'm working on it. Okay, do the same thing. Okay, now same for here on this side. Okay. Now we're going to go into the wheels. And the wheels, I could probably just do a solid color. I need to add a little more black now. Rather add more than use too much, because that is a waste of painting. With the way things are going right now, we're trying to save as much as possible. Use a little bit of that brown in there, just enough to break up the black. Okay, that's it for that side. And this thing is warm, so it's already drying on me. And these ladders, I want to get the ladders too. And that's down there. That's good. Okay, add some extra black here on the sides and the tops. On the top of the water. And some just darkness here, some little spots on the rivets. Now, I'm not going to add a little rust, but we're going to just cover some of those little spots here that look like the paintbrush has missed. Okay, it's already drying on me. So there you go. That's your tender, and it's ready, pretty much weathered. And so we're going to come back in a second here, grab the steam engine, and do the same thing. Exactly the same thing. It should be dry, and it is dry. Wonderful. So we're going to spray this bad boy, and then we're going to get going on the steam engine. Okay, there we go. Now, same thing, same process. We're going to do the steam engine. Okay. I got my black. I got my water now. Let's go to town here. What do you think? So the same thing. We're gonna top, just like pretty much the same way you would do with a diesel locomotive. start with the top first. Get the top of the boiler. Get that good to go. In between that. Now, we're gonna more water, less paint, but more water, and continue stretching that paint all the way down. So you can go like this, and just make sure it strokes downward. You know, between here. Sometimes I just go like that to get in behind those railings, and then I start using those strokes downward. Okay. Okay, let's blow dry this side. Up and down first. Now you got little puddles here, so just stretch it out. Okay. Maybe get a little bit of that effect on the sides here. Add a little more towards the cab. Okay. Now we're going to see a difference here in a second. I want to add a little more paint on the bottom here that I missed a little bit on the sides here. Bottom here too. Missed a few spots. Let's get those. There we go. Now you can see a difference. So here's the weathered side. I'm going to do show the other side where it's not weathered. You can see how black it is, right? So there's your difference. So we're going to go now do this side. There we go. A little water. A little bit of paint. Again, that flat black from Adidas acrylics. And we're going to continue. First, I'm going to go in here, get all in those railings. Then, you can do this too. You can just stroke it and just make sure before you dry it, you go downward on it. Okay. Get in there. Let's go down here. See what happens. There we go. More water, more paint. Another coat on the sides here. Go right here, knock this out. there you go. It's pretty much weathered. I mean, you can just do this, and you feel like you're done. You're done. You don't have to add any powders or any kind of airbrushing. It's if you find it done, that's it. I mean, this is very light weathering, and it looks great. I am not gonna. Okay, why not? I need to do the front boiler here. It's gonna look bad without it. I already sealed it, so it's okay. It says Big Boy here. It was autographed by Ed as well up here. Done. I'm not touching any more of that. And here's the front now, and this is fun. I like doing this part. Now I'm not gonna just adding some black. I'm gonna get rid of that plastic look. Okay. He's already at 41 minutes, huh? Look at that. Doesn't take too long to weather steam engine. And you could go absolutely crazy and do all sorts of stuff depending on the scale and how much weathering you want to do. Okay. Let's get the front pilot now. The front pilot, I'm going to add a little bit of that brown so it lightens up that black. I'm going to Now, before I seal this, I want to get rid of some of the paint on the Big Boy's front, the UP logo. And you could just use a little water on the tip of a Q-tip. Just like that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's it. Now, we're going to add some little bit of effects here, since this is pretty much sealed up. Now, we're going to check our tender and see how it's doing, and then we're going to come back. We're going to seal this guy up, and now start on the tender again. Just constantly switching out. It should be dry, and the baby is dry. Beautiful. Okay. And see, it's all sealed. You have to worry about fingerprints and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, let's continue with this here. Now, I do have troubles with certain powders, and pretty much they have some of the wrong powders, but you can use all different kinds. There's huge, not too bad. Don't know the name of these. I got these as a gift from a client. Excuse me. And but we're going to continue with paints first before we try any kind of weathering. And I forgot to do this side, so let me add some of that paint there. And let's weather that bad boy. Done. Okay, see, this is so easy, guys, and everybody freaks out on doing steam engine. It's not that hard, and just constantly clean your gears, constantly clean on your wheels, and I'm not spraying the wheels down, so I could clean those very easily with a wet brush or a wet Q-tip. This is a little thick. Let's try. Haha, perfect. We're gonna go into our palette here, and we're gonna get you that brown on the side here, a little bit of that. And we're going to add some weathering on the coupler. A little bit on the edges here. Now this will dry pretty faded out, so I'm not worried about how it looks. And if you're really freaking out, you add some black to it. Just a little of that on the edges there. And we'll blow dry this too. And you see what I mean? It really dries like it's dusted. You know, and it's hard to see. That's probably worse. But there you go. And we're gonna add a little more of that water, some of that black, and we're gonna just go over this a little bit here. Upward on that. Okay. And now that's pretty much done. Now you want to add a little effects to it, we can. Let's move that grimy black here. And now this is good for, I like dipping it into a little bit of wet with the brush. See, that could be too black. So we're gonna add a little bit that gray. Nah, I got a color here. Here's another palette of powders that I use, and I got a little bit of that brown and rust on it. It's quiet. Hopefully they didn't finish. I still want to go out there and check them out. So note to self: close up your, if you're using a blow dryer, especially with weathering and powders, make sure you close up your powder cases. You don't want powder going everywhere. I learned from experience one time. So there you go. So this has a nice grimy color to it, the very end, and it still has a little brown to it, just like a normal coupler will look like. And this is an oil burner, so this is just faded, right? We're gonna add a little bit of the oil, Earl, I was going to say in the 50s, but you're gonna use gloss paint. You're gonna use a black gloss. Black gloss is this is apple barrel. You get this at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, wherever. Some hobby craft stores, super cheap, a couple of bucks, maybe $1.50, depending on where you go to get it. And you want a gloss because oil is shiny, right? So we're gonna dry this brush off a little bit here. Some black on it already, so we're gonna see how this is how you dry off that brush. Okay. I'm gonna go in here, just dab a little bit on the wheels. A little bit down here, just some details if you want. Okay, just like that on that. Some you may catch it, you may not catch it. Depends on your lighting and your model, on your model. So here I may add some, a little bit of gloss here. Add a spot here or so. Maybe there's a couple of spots here. And you want to dab it so it looks like it's oil stains on top. Okay, maybe some back here. You go for the overall effect. I mean, the smaller the model, the more you get away with this kind of stuff. Now there's O scale, I could go way more in detail, which is a lot of fun, a lot more time consuming, but it is a lot of fun. Put that in there. Okay. Oh, oop, that's the wrong kind of paint. That was, okay, there we go. Made it a little thicker. Okay. A couple more coats to that. It's sort of showing up here. Just a little bit, just like that. Just want to dab it, you know. And then when it dries, it should dry pretty clear. Oops. Not clear, but it may show up. Sometimes it does, and yeah, a little bit. You can tell that it's there. Sometimes you want to add a little. Sometimes a little more coat, an extra coat. You know, just keep dabbing it around. Oops. You don't want any streaks. You want dabs. Q-tip works well for this too, or sponge. So there you go. That's that. Now I don't want to add. Actually, don't want to add any powders to this because I like the way it is. It looks like it's being used, and we're good, you know. But we can maybe under here you add a little white, like some kick up, excuse me, gray. Use some gray and black for some ballast kick up on the bottom of the trucks. So a little dab of that Anita. This is rainy day gray, excuse me. And use a little of that flat black and some of that gray. We're gonna mix it up here. More gray and black, of course. Okay, and just along the bottoms here, just add some of that. Just very, very lightly, right? You want to show them that there's some nice, good old ballast on the bottom of the trucks here. Right? Okay, just like that. Blow dry it. Okay. Now you can see, I'm going to show you a difference here. Here we go. This should work. Hopefully you can see this. Now, this is the piece that has no gray on the trucks, right? Now we're going to do this here. You can see there's some lightness on the gray. Okay. So, and you're fading it with that black. And you just a tiny bit. Tiny bit. Okay. A little more in there. How about that? Okay. Maybe they're in between sets. That band has stopped. I was enjoying the music. And just want the very bottom of this. Okay. Now, all these piping and stuff, we're going to make that glossy as well because I'm sure there's plenty of oil drippings on those. Okay, and that's what we're going to do here. And a little bit of that that black, glossy black, excuse me, couldn't think of the word. And maybe dab the bottom of this a little bit. Dab the a little bit more of that glossy black. You know, this is a nice canvas to work on, I'm telling you. A lot of some here, some on the box here. Just a little bit of that. Try. Okay, do some of that there. Just upstroke it just a bit. Go back again. You can see at the bottom here, there's a little bit of shine. I mean, this is going to shine just a little bit, but you can see some of that gloss is sticking out a bit. So we're going to do a lot here, actually. I want to add some here on the top. And so a little more of that glossy stuff. Ooh, just get the whole thing. How about that? We'll come back and we'll fade it out just a bit with that brown here now. Dip some of that brown in there too, mix it up. Some of the filth. Now, you normally I would take the wheels out, but the wheels actually are being driven on the bottom because the chip and the sound comes through here. So I don't want to touch the wheels inside. And plus, what's great about these trucks, they really cover the wheels well. So this should work. So now you have some dabs of some gloss in there, some of that oil being same thing at the bottom right there, you could tell. So this is pretty much, I would say, finito, because I don't want to add really any more because you could add too much and then it doesn't look good. I'm going to add some on the top here then, and that should be it. Oop. And I'm going to seal this bad boy and then we're done. Now, so there's your tender. Just that simple, right? Okay, let's get the steam engine itself, the beast. Okay, let's add some detail to this guy now. And you can go crazy on this or not. Now what I'm going to do is I might add some gray to it at the bottom here. There's oil burner, so it's not going to be, you want to add just a little bit of that. I may add some powders to it. We'll see what happens. Let's add some of that the oil here. The oil up there. Down here. Just leopard spotting, you know, just leopard spotting some parts. Just mix it all together. Because they oil these things too. Even if the cold burn, they still oil the gears. And so sometimes a little gloss on the drivers and the driver hands sometimes looks good too. So yeah, move this a little bit more. You see what I'm doing? So just strike, you know, just a little bit of that gloss, and we're going over some of the parts here, the gears with that gloss. That's it, just a little bit of that here and there, and continue weathering other parts and over those dabs. Okay, some here as well. Yeah, you want to look too black. Now the fun part is down here in the boiler. So now we can add some of that black, some of that flat brown, and you want to just light color. And I'm doing just dabbing it in here. It's all the way you do the brush too. So add a little bit here maybe. Some kick up from the ballast here in the bottom. So that brown there. Now maybe we're going to get a little bit of that gray on. There we go. On the drivers too. We're going to add a little bit here first. Now see, right, this is already too much, so we're gonna dilute it a little bit with some of that black in there. So mix it up. The paint's already wet. There we go. Okay, now we're doing that. Add some of that a little bit too much there. We're gonna add some of that black again. Too much on the brush, actually. Okay, with that gloss, come streak it down. There we go. Yeah, and this stuff dries pretty dry. Let's close this up. Not well. It dries to where it's not really going to be as noticeable. And guys, paint is very forgiving, especially if you're using acrylics. You can wash it with water, and that's why I use acrylics. Okay, some streaks down there. Let's fix those. There we go. The boiler can't get in there. Oh yeah, flat black down here. It's dark. Use a little of that. That should dry fairly well. Shouldn't be an issue. Nope. Nope. It looks good to me. Okay. Now we're gonna add a tiny bit of that gray in the drivers. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit here and there, and it's just a very minuscule detail. Some of the moving gears as well. Okay, and yes, there is white, and we're gonna do that too now. So we're gonna add a little bit of white. We just layer the paint, you know, just keep layering it. That's all you got to do. A little bit of that brown and black. Some of that leftover brown and black. Let me add some more here. Get rid of that solid gray look. Don't like it a bit. Okay. Okay. Just a tiny. Try to do teeny tiny. Didn't work. I'll use it. I'll put it back in there. Dry. There we go. A little too much here, but that's okay. We'll add some black over that. This is more of a dry brush type of deal. Just dab it. Like that. Okay. And some of that black that's in there. Let's go over that a little bit more. Some of those valves and gears. Some of the paint. It has a nice fire going. Going in the nooks and crannies in there. Add a little black to that too. There's the oil burner and a little bit of that will look good. So add more of that black paint, flat black. Just break it up just a bit. Again, you're leopard spotting this. You're not really painting it. And so there's some grain here, not a lot, just enough. And I want to add more of that gloss black in there. Okay, now that looks pretty nice to me. I like it. So we're gonna do the other side. Okay, do the same thing. And try to keep the sides even as possible. So the same amount of detail on both sides. A little bit of that gray again. Some of that black. And we're going to go in here and leopard spot this part. Okay. A little bit of that black and spot this baby up. Streak it down just a little bit. Ooh, there we go. Get in there with some gray. So this would be gray too. Now let's get some more of that black on these back trucks here. Okay. Some of that white as well. Okay, let's blow dry that. There's a portion here. All right. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add a little more of that gray. Tiny brush. Light. There we go. A little too much still on the brush. There at the bottom here, let's kick up from the ballast. Brown with that gray. And this one. And more of that gray on here. There we go. And add some black, some light gray at the bottom for the kick up. A little more black to that. There we go. Use the leftover paint. Now I have some more black again. And there we go. I'll give that wheel a little bit more character. How about that? Okay. A little bit more gray on this side too now. Just like that. Okay. Now the fun part, I'm going to clean the brush off. I'm going to put some more of that glossy green, excuse me, black. I don't think I want to put green on here. I don't think it'll look good. Okay. Okay, so those gears and a little bit of oil dripping down there. Black underneath. A little more here. More there. Maybe a little bit here. You always take some of that off. Maybe some dab right there and some over here as well. Some on top of the pistons, the brake systems here. A little bit back there, a little bit there, a little bit here and there. Okay. Okay, we'll dry this now. Those driving wheels need to be done again. Okay. So what I'm going to do here for the, yeah, look at that. You can tell that's pretty glossy. That's good. I like that. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm going to add a little more to that. Ooh, yeah, I like that. Okay. And more on the drivers there. Some of that gloss. Some of the coils here and the gears. I had some. This is using glossy black here because this is an oil burner. We're making the steam engine look like it's from 1946 because 4005 was an oil burner in 1946, but it was reverted into coal in 1948. We're gonna make this baby look like it was 1946. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna add some of that flat black. Some of the drivers again. A little bit too much paint. I don't want to cook it with paint. Unfortunately, I can't move the drivers or the wheels because the wire is broken on the steam engine. Needs to be repaired, and so we'll do the best we can to weather this guy up. A little bit of that. See, I had a little too much gray on those wheels. I want to add some more black to it. I'm just using acrylics, water-based acrylics. All right, the band's back. Now, if folks are new here right now, there's a mariachi band playing outside, not far from where the studio is, and so I think I'm going to go check it out after we finish this live stream and see how it goes. All right, boop, 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 boop. Just dabbing along. Okay, I want to fix this portion here with some of that paint that's up here. Okay. Sounds like a trombone player. All right. fix this here since it's paint. Okay. Okay. We're not adding any powder. I think, oops, I think it looks good. Let me, did I really, oh, right, get rid of the dust on here. He's definitely talking Spanish. I can't understand what the gentleman is saying, but that's okay. Use that black. On the bottom here. Okay. Let's add a little more in the front here. I like the way it's coming out, but I'm gonna add a little more here. Don't want to go too crazy, but I do want to add another layer of black, and I think this is pretty much set. Okay. Don't want to dirty up too much of that. Okay. There is the Union Pacific Big Boy sign on the front here. I don't want to dirty it too much. Cool. I don't know what the heck the guy's talking about, but it sounds like they're having a good old time over there. Whew. All right, good. There we go. And I think we're good here. You know, I think we're good. Now, the fun part is try to clean everything here. Now, I don't have any dust, thank goodness. So what I'm going to do is use some rubbing alcohol, not the kind you drink. That's too expensive. Cheap stuff here. Okay, clean the pilot wheels a little bit, get that gunk off. And a lot of these wheels are just dirty from the engine just sitting around. And so that's what we're doing here. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is not from my work. That's just sitting, collecting dust, dirty. There we go. Clean these wheels the best I can do here. Let's see here. I'm not scraping this. I'm going very lightly, just trying to move some of the paint or guck, dirt, whatever you want to call it, off these wheels. There's a spot here that needs to be cleaned off. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? There are 5 viewers, which is really cool. I think everybody's just enjoying watching what I'm doing instead of just standing. I think these wheels are good. Those wheels are good. These wheels are clean. Okay. That's done. That's done. That's done. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. I think we're done with this baby. Now, time to seal it up and call it done here. Well, I'm going to actually need to work on this one more time. Let's get down here. Let's see if that works. Okay. Ooh. I keep hitting the icon. Oh, yes, much better. That line is not there anymore. Perfect. Okay. That goes in there. Now, we're going to seal this up one more time. I'm going to check out the tender for anybody who's new here. If the tender was not already, we'll show you what's going on with the tender. Okay. Now, when I spray this, I do not spray the drivers at all. But I will go over it with alcohol to make sure that the drivers can still move. Okay. Whew. Good thing I got some ventilation going on. That stuff stinks. Okay. Now here, I'm not gonna use any light coating for this particular model. So what I did here was add a gray on the bottom, so it looks like ballast pickup. Ballast dust picked up. Some weathering back here for the coupler. The coupler's still good. And we're done with this piece here. We can get rid of some electronics are over here, so should be good. Oof. That's done. Okay. I think my friend is watching. So we're completely done with this guy here. I'm gonna check the wheel. To check that the wheels do look good. They're not dirty. I didn't touch them. There's some parts here I may clean up though. That's not from the weathering. And if it is, oh well. Clean it anyway. How about that? Oh, I wet it first and then go. Maybe it is from me. I'm going super light. I'm not just kicking that out. Clean that up. There we go. Okay, according to my friend, this wasn't damaged in the flood, so hopefully we can get this bad boy running. Still need to fix a wire. Okay, let's do this. That needs to be done too. No, it's pretty boring, right? I find it's a lot easier than trying to set up a camera, trying to get the right angles. I find I like doing live stuff, and I can answer any questions while we're working on this. So I'm waiting for the steam engine to dry at the moment. If anybody has any questions in the meantime, I'll be glad to answer them, not ask them. You know. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish my cold coffee. I'm getting up early to Railfan tomorrow, so I haven't Railfan in a while. So it'll be fun. And so let's see here. I don't have anything else I can work on. Well, I can work on the Frisco in the meantime. This part is done here. This is gorgeous. I'm so happy the way it came out. Let's do that. Clean up. Let's try to put some of this white paint back in here if I can. I don't know if I can able to salvage it. Some of it could go in here. Some of it's going. There we go. Really, really slow. I don't think that. Oh, it may be worth it. Let's see. There we go. That works. Some of it went back in. That's okay. That works. Okay. So I was gonna use some of this powder, these powders, but I don't want to really use it. I like the way it's coming out the way it is. So it came out really nice, and this brush is probably dry. I like using these thick kind of brushes for the weathering, for the powders, excuse me. So those are good here. I use all sorts of brushes. You can see there are tons and tons of brushes all over here. Um, and for my friend here, let me see if I can move this up a little bit. Nope, nope. Let's do that. There's his daughter made me this wonderful picture here, and so there it is. It's there. It's hanging up in my studio. Okay. First fixed it. Aha. All right. So this is done. That steam engine should be dry by now. It dries fairly fast in here. What we'll do is I'll blow dry the top a little bit to make sure it's good to go. Yeah, it's dry. And what's cool is the gloss paint actually shines a little bit here. You want it so obvious, but you could definitely tell there's some gloss there. Oh, I'm so happy. And there's a little piece here that you can hook up. In this piece. Let's paint that part there. Get some of that black. A little bit of that black. Ooh, where's my... Yes, I think my brush is in... Yes, it's in here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Now, it's time to take these off now. What we're going to do is we're going to fade that a little bit as the final product. Lightly. Where is my... Here it is. The blow dryer. Yeah, it's faded, but the paint is not covering the number, which I wanted. So that is good there. Go inside here a little bit. Okay. Let's get this bit on here. Voila, that's done. See, now there's a little wire here. It's hard to, I don't know if you can see it, sticking up. We gotta somehow send it to somebody to repair. So get rid of that. And here's to getting the autograph by Mr. Ed. Yeah, see, didn't even ruin it. Perfect. Beautiful. There. The top was not weathered at all. That's going to stay. There's autographed by Mr. Ed. And do the same thing on this side. Okay. Oh, almost sounds like a drum solo. Okay, that's some of that. Cool. just like that. Just like that, boys and girls. Now we can see if I can clean those windows up just a little bit with that ruby alcohol. They're not from my spraying, but just from dust and dirt. So, and then this motor should be done. Ooh, the windows open up. I forgot they do. Okay. Okay, there we go. Now, take the top that off. And voila, I think the steam engine is done. Time to put this bad boy on the display and take photos of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if anybody is interested in having a project done by Touch of the Brush, you can email me at totbmodelweathering@yahoo.com. But the best place to really find me is right here on YouTube. You can comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram as well as Facebook. Contact me on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us on Tank Top. I need more coffee. Follow us on TikTok. Again, on Instagram and also on Facebook. Here is the big boy. It is completo. And I'm in love with this model, the way I did it. I'm so happy. And there's the tender. I got pretty, huh? So, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Joey G with Touch of the Brush Model Weathering. And stay tuned for some more videos. I am building a layout above me here, which is a switching layout. It takes place in late 40s, early 50s. That's freight. And above that is passenger. So, we're going to be showing some more update videos. Check out the latest video on the project for these layouts. I do have some more videos coming up. Oof, cut this off. I got some more videos coming up, and once we get working again, I will be posting more videos with music and all those sorts of good stuff. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Be blessed, and I'll talk to you and see you next time.